Today's guest is from Fairfax, Virginia, went to Kansas State University, and still holds the Fiesta Bowl record for receiving yards in a game with 206, and tied for first with 3 touchdown catches in that game. Drafted by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in the 7th round. Then he went to the original XFL for the Los Angeles Extreme, where he led the XFL in TD catches. Then the CFL with the BC Lions, Calgary Stampeders, Winnipeg Blue Bombers. Welcome to the show, my boy, D-Mac. Darnell McDonald.
What up? Thanks for having me on. It's been a while. I ain't seen you in a while. You looking good.
Yeah, you was talking about me earlier, when I was doing them up-down, them burpees, man. Look.
You always been a little healthy wide receiver, but you let it go a little bit. But, with the career you had, it's okay. You get the pass for letting it go a little bit.
Yeah, man. It's good that we reconnected, man, because we were almost teammates twice back in the day in Calgary, and that's one of those things. We were roommates my rookie year in training camp, and I appreciate you for letting me go out for your birthday, showing me what Canada's all about.
Yeah, I showed you a good time. I was wild, and you was just getting your feet wet, but I showed you a good time.
Yes, you did. I didn't understand why you didn't want anybody to know was your birthday. I didn't know that at that time, and you were like, "Man, don't tell nobody it's my birthday, but hey, you can come out with me tonight." I'm like, "Why can't nobody know?"
I don't know. I was just one of those. I don't know. I usually didn't tell too many people about my birthday, and things like that. But I always had fun on my birthday, though, regardless of whoever knew or whatever.
Well, you remember I had an injury right before your birthday. I don't remember if you remember that. I had the testicular torsion where, they almost had to cut one off.
No, I didn't remember
that. That's the most painful thing I've probably ever been through. I remember Salacio found me in the bathroom on the floor when we were eating at the Best Western, and then I went to I was in the hospital all night. So I wasn't actually practicing at that point. So being able to go out for your birthday and enjoy it, I didn't have to go to practice the next day. I was just there. I didn't have to practice, but, seeing you knock them shots down and knock it in them brewskis, man, and then go out there and one-on-ones destroy DBs. I remember you used to just talk, man.
Hey, just like it took us a long time to learn how to run routes to get open and things like that. I had a lot of training to be able to take some drinks and then get up and go play some football.
Man, it was good though, because for one time, man, I just remember you were so dominant in training camp that year, and I was looking at our squad, man. It was like Wayne McGarity, Albert Connell, yourself, myself, Salacio. Then with Canadians, we had Juhas and Andre Arlane and Danny Montana and those guys, right. Man. And
we had a stacked little squad though in the receiver corps for sure.
Oh yeah. I was like, man, this is my first time to play professional football, and I'm looking around like I remember Albert Connell from A&M because my family's huge A&M fans, and then he went for 1,000 with the Redskins, and he was out there balling. I remember he's always catch the ball and put it behind his head. Yeah. I was like, that's awesome. Like, DBs can never get it. Because usually you catch it, you bring it down. He catch it, put it behind his head. So then DBs, they do this, and he's, right back here with it. And then, Wayne, crazy ass.
Yeah. I loved Wayne, though. He was like Lil Wayne for real.
For real.
Playing football. I loved him to death, man. That whole squad, man. Just thinking back that it was so many different personalities. But everybody had the same goal as getting better, and trying to win a Grey Cup. You know what I mean? But and you came in there, and it was funny though, because when you came in and when you did start practicing the year before, the year that we did actually go in camp together, it was like you were a veteran already. So hats off to you from the beginning, the way you came in professional and the way you just dealt with everyone from players to coaches and staff like that, and the way you worked hard, man. Hats off to you, and you deserve everything that you got.
Being a D2 walk-on, man, I came in I'm fans of these guys. I'm looking around guys that I've watched, and I'm like, man, I'm fans of you guys, man. You played in the Big 12 at K-State, and I've seen you play, and I was like, dude, this is some serious guys up here Because before I got there, I didn't know that. And then you see him, I'm looking around, and I remember Victor Ike, and I was like, dude, Victor Ike, I used to rep him when he was at Texas. So then it was like, okay, well, I got to go make my name now, right? I got to show them. It was more – I was less concerned about showing the coaches. I was more concerned about showing y'all that I belong there.
Right.
And so it's like you made a play, you diving and catching the ball, making a one-hand catch. AC putting it behind his head. Wayne over here dropping people off on them option routes. And I'm just like, dude, I got to show him I can play too.
As I think back on it, I think that's the best way for you to come in. Like if you would have came to a team that you had a bunch of guys that really wasn't known in Division I football and things like that, that you might have came in a little bit complacent or something like that. But you came in and you're looking at people that you actually seen, play in Division I. So it probably gave you a little edge, like, yo, I got to prove myself here. Like, I got to. You know what I'm saying? So that might have gave you a little edge, and I think that probably was the best thing for you coming in.
Yeah, I was definitely a good group, man. We'll get to more of that later. But how's everything been with the COVID, man? How you been handling with this? And I see you with your son and having some good times. How's it been?
Yeah, I mean, it's been real good. I mean, hats off. I mean, my condolences go to everyone that got the COVID-19 and stuff. I mean, fortunately, none of my family has it. Girlfriend or anything like that has it. So, but we're maintaining. My girlfriend has the opportunity to work from home. Me, unfortunately, I can't. So I've been out of work for a while. But it's giving me time to spend more time with my son. So that's a blessing.
Yeah, that's huge, man. He getting big. I like y'all's. I like your videos, man. Was that TikToks or Snapchat or where you put the videos at?
It's basically just on my Facebook. I haven't even put it anywhere. I don't even have any of that extra social media stuff like that. I just had the Facebook and that's it. But it was funny. A couple of my buddies was talking about my son is like, we're talking because we both was raised in the hood, and he was like, oh man, our sons are soft as I don't know what. Like they don't know what hard is and things like that. So I did a video acting like they were tough. My son and one of his best friends. And it got so many comments and things on Facebook that I actually did another video on my Facebook about them being gangsters and thugs and
slinging donuts.
It hit off, right?
Man, that was awesome, man. I always enjoy seeing guys with their kids and just having fun, man, because we do have a portal now that we didn't have when we were growing up to be seen and to actually be creative. And one of the things that people see now is how talented everybody is, right? You see all these people on all these platforms doing all this crazy flips and different things. And I think it's really been positive and it shows people that you don't have to be in Hollywood anymore. You know what I'm saying? You can actually go out and create. There's YouTube stars making $10 million a year plus and doing that and you can do it because, you know what I'm saying, you've always been funny and you've always been one of those guys that people gravitate to. So, I hope you keep doing that with your son and y'all build that.
Yeah, no, I actually been getting a few people telling me I should just go on and start a page and just make funnies, you know what I mean? But, I'm going to think about it. I mean, it probably won't happen because I'm working, when I am working, I'm working 40 to 60 hours a week. So, but it would be nice to make funnies and start making all this money that all these YouTube stars are making. Oh,
yeah. You been watching The Last Dance at all?
Yeah, I have. I'm actually on episode 5 or 5 or 6 right now, but it's eye-opening for sure.
LeBron or Jordan?
Jordan, easy. And for the main argument that I would say, because LeBron is eventually going to pass all his stats, okay?
Yeah.
The main thing that I would say is this. You can't be considered the greatest of all time if you have a weakness. And his weakness is free throws. LeBron has never been good at shooting free throws. I can't say someone's the greatest of all time if you're not great at something on that basketball court. You got to be able to pass, catch, rebound, play defense, shoot threes, do layups, dunk. Well, not even dunk, but play all aspects of the game. And free throws is one of them, and he doesn't. And on the flip side, I just don't think he has that it factor. And I know that sounds crazy because LeBron James is amazing. I'm not taking nothing from him, but who do you want with the ball with 10 seconds left of the game? I'm pretty sure the majority of the world is going to say Jordan.
Yeah. And, Jordan averaged more blocks in the playoffs per game than LeBron?
Yep. Yep.
Right. It's crazy how similar their stats are when you put together LeBron's and Jordan's. And it's taken LeBron 2 extra years to get past Jordan. He's 1,800 points ahead of Jordan with 2 more years under his belt. And, I think that's just due to coming out of high school. If Jordan could have came out after 1 year at North Carolina and not 3 years. You know what I'm saying? So
Yep.
there's some huge differences. Jordan leaving right in the height, right? He leaves for a year and a half. And then when you look at, they bench him and tell him when he's hurt that he can only play 14 minutes a game and he's still putting up 20-some points. Like, he's going out there going crazy
That's
14
crazy.
minutes, right? So you look at all those things, and LeBron has been healthy. Hats off to LeBron, though, man. He's definitely a great athlete. He's one of the best athletes to ever play a sport. At his size, to be able to run, jump, and be as athletic as he is. But, yeah, man, I just think Jordan's just so much better. What about Kobe, LeBron?
Look, I would go LeBron. Me personally, I think I got them 1, 2, and 3, and with Kobe on third. Only reason I think LeBron in that aspect is because LeBron can guard almost all 5 positions.
Yeah.
Because of his size. At one point, he was like 265, 270 at one point in his career. I know he lost some weight certain years and things like that, but I think he can defend multiple one or 2 more positions than Kobe. But obviously, if you ask me who out of them 2 who gets the ball the last 10 seconds, it's going to be Kobe. But I would pick LeBron over him as a player. But fun fact though, if a player beats you in every single stat as a basketball player, except championships, who's the better player, in your opinion?
Man, I just think there's so many factors, man. I think there's a lot of factors that go into it. But I don't
Wait a minute, if I beat you in every single stat except championships, who's
did
better?
We play the same game? Did we play the same? We played the same era and the same.
Yes. Same era.
Well, you can't say the guy with the most championships because Robert Horry got more championships than a lot of people.
Correct. So the reason I asked that question is, it's a fun fact that it was brought to my attention like a few months ago, which I didn't even know. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar beats Jordan in every stat.
Yeah, he does.
Except steals.
Every stat.
Every stat except steals.
Yeah.
Percentage, everything. So how come his name never comes up? That's what I don't understand.
Kareem was killing it, and I don't know. It's like Bill Russell, man. Bill Russell had 11 championships in 13 years or something like that.
Yeah, but Kareem played with Jordan a few years.
Yeah, but
But yeah, I
had
looked it up
Worthy and Magic and Dennis Johnson, and we look at that and we say, we kind of discredit people for having help, and we kind of, it's crazy how. Because essentially, if you look at the top probably 5 big men, which would be probably Kareem, Bill Russell, Wilt Chamberlain, Shaq, and Hakeem Olajuwon, if you ask me,
right,
are probably the 5 greatest big men to ever play the game.
Mm-hmm.
They don't get counted in those same stats because of they're not really. I don't know, the small forward and the shooting guard, or like in the point guard, flashy positions. Steph Curry makes it look good. Shoot.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Jordan can shoot from anywhere. Kevin Durant can shoot from anywhere. So you have all these players that make it look good. But Shaq was the only one that really made it look good down low. Him and Hakeem. Hakeem had the dream shake where he just dropping people off.
Right.
But, you look at Kareem, he was just sky hooking everybody. You can't touch that.
See, exactly. But that just proves, it just to take it back to football, it even proves that showboating in the end zone will get you remembered. Because let's think about this. Harrison for
Marvin Harrison.
For the Colts, the wide receiver.
He's like number 3 all time.
Exactly, but no one talks about him because he never danced in the end zone. He never did anything crazy. He handed the ball back to the ref, went and celebrated with his teammates, and went in. So even in sports, in any sport, if you got a little bit of showboat in you, people are going to remember you. But Marvin Harrison had an amazing career top 3 of all time, top 3, top 4, and no one talks about them.
You got to remember, you got to be more than an athlete. You got to be an entertainer. People remember the entertainment, right? It's the entertainment value they want to see. That's why somebody's willing to pay $1,000 to sit in the nosebleed to watch LeBron, Jordan, Kobe, all those guys, those greats, but then they won't pay $100 to sit down first row to watch somebody they don't really care about. That's just an NBA, right? It's the entertainment factor that you're getting, and you were one of those guys, man, that brought a lot of entertainment factors. I did one of your dances after I scored a touchdown in Winnipeg, man. You know what I'm saying? I broke it down, and I got that D-Mac. I remember that's one of the first things you showed me was you scored a touchdown on a dude. You got up and started popping your booty on him.
Hey, it's so funny. Let me tell you how that came along. Before that looks bad and it sounds bad, but let me tell you how that was created. Okay, my mother came to see me one time in Canada, and we were in I have put her up in the hotel, and we're all in the hotel, my family and stuff. And I'm joking around, and I'm like, "Yo, Mom, if I score, I'm gonna dance like I'm at the strip club, like I'm a stripper." And she was like, "Man, ain't no grown man in the world is gonna do no shit like that, And I'm like, you're right. And I did it. I started off, I did it to get her mad. I was like, if I score, I'm gonna have her mad as I don't know what at the end of this game. So I scored, and I did this little pop lock dance, and she was furious. And then it was going to be over with and done. But then obviously, actually some fans came up to me, and was like, "Oh my God, that was so much. You were dancing," and little kids was doing it. And I was like, you know something, I might as well just keep going. So I did some type of dance every time I scored a touchdown. That's how it came along.
When did you start playing football? Like, what age were you?
I was 8 years old when I started.
You started receiver?
I played tight end or wide receiver my whole life until high school, and then I started playing wide receiver and free safety.
Okay.
And I hated free safety.
Man, I wanted to play safety when I was in high school. I was like, man, I was 5'9", 170 pounds my junior year, and I was like, dude, I want to play free safety. And they kept putting me at corner, so I just started letting people run by me at practice. I wouldn't even jog more than 5 yards. After practice, the coach comes up to me. He goes, "Hey, come here, I want to talk to you." I'm like, "What's up?" He goes, "So we're going to change your position on defense. You're going to play defensive end."
Dang.
I remember I walked in the locker room. I was like, man, they talking about putting me at defensive end. Look at me. I'm 170. Like, what am I going to do down here? Next day at practice, I run down there with the DBs. They like, "Nick." I'm like, oh, they serious? Yeah, man, look. I was 2-year All-State defensive end, though. I mean, I would just use my athletic ability. And it's a small school. It was 2A. But I just use my athletic ability. I jump around guys, move around, make some tackles. Yeah. It was fun. I enjoyed it. Way better than corner.
Hey, athlete is an athlete. You're right. You already know that. Yeah, I got a quick funny story about that. Like, after I done retired, and I had a opportunity to play with my 1994 high school team. It's like a alumni game, full padded, everything, pads, all that. Yes.
Who y'all playing against?
And a school that was down the street from us. It's called Edison. A school called, yes, they're 94 team. Yes. So
bunch of old dudes.
Bunch of old dudes. I'm talking our wide receivers look like linemen now. Like, you know what I'm saying? I was the only one that was, at least close to being in a weight wise of playing the same position that I played back then, But funny story, kind of piggyback on your story is, obviously I played wide receiver. You know what I mean? Obviously I did pretty good in the game, scored a couple touchdowns, et cetera, et cetera. So I go to my head coach, same head coach that we had in 94. And I was like, yo, put me in that defensive end. And he was like, McDonald, he was like, you're like 215, 220, but it's a different world down there. And I was like, no, put me in. Like, I'm an athlete. I always wanted to get a sack, So I'm like, I'm going in anyway. So I just run in there and take out the defense end, and I'm hyped, hand up in the air, ready to come off the line of scrimmage. And I came off, and the lineman that was in front of me disappeared. And I'm like, oh, I'm about to kill this quarterback.
Pulling
Man,
guard.
I got cleaned up by a pulling guard so bad. This 300+ pound dude, that joint hurt so bad. I was like, it's like chest down here. Like, you got to know, things. And I got to the sideline, and my coach is laughing at me. My high school coach is laughing at me. He was like, I told you, it's a different monster down there. Like, you don't understand what goes on down there. I was like, I swore I had a clean shot at the quarterback. And, man, this dude hit me so hard, man, rung my bell. And I was like, yeah, y'all can have that defensive line stuff. I'm over it.
Pulling guard put me in the hospital in high school, man.
Ugh,
Same thing. Tackle, like, it's the first time I seen it. Because usually people, like, we're going to run at him. He's small. But the tackle would come at me. I just try to make him miss, swipe his hands, and then dive in and make a tackle. Man, that tackle went down. I seen that running back coming towards me. I was like, ooh,
dang.
Was it.
Yeah,
I'm getting carried off on a stretcher, neck brace on.
Yeah, I believe it. Because I didn't want to come back in the game after that hit.
Hey, so when did you start talking trash, though? Did you talk trash in high school or Little League when you played, or did you just grow into that?
Well, it kind of got to the point when I started talking trash in high school. I came from New Jersey. I went to 2 years in New Jersey at Pemberton High School, and Pemberton and Glassboro High School in New Jersey, and then I came to the Virginia area in Fairfax. It's called Hayfield. So when I got there, the dynamic was different than New Jersey. Like New Jersey, everyone played hard. I'm talking 100, even at practice. No lackadaisical, nothing. Everyone was going hard at all times. When I got to Virginia, no knock to Virginia schools or whatever, but the particular school I went to, Hayfield, most of the players was like bull jiving the whole practice, And I caught a pass on one of the guys, and they didn't really care. Like they were like, "Oh, good catch," And then I learned quick that for me talking smack, I know that I can get the best out of that defender.
Yeah.
Because he's not going to want to hear me talk smack anymore. So I developed the art of talking smack, and I talk smack to him every day, all day, even at practice. I mean, even at school the next day. If I caught two passes on your practice, I'm talking smack, telling everybody that wasn't at practice how about I just dogged him in one-on-ones. So when he got to practice, I knew if I caught a pass on him, I know he was giving me his 100. So I knew that was going to make me better. Yeah. So in turn, the talking smack helped me develop because I wanted them at their best. Because if they wasn't at their best, I wouldn't have got better by catching passes on them. So that's how it developed. And it's fun. It's fun to get someone mad, and they know you're trying to get them mad, and they still get mad. So
what do you think about Jordan talking to his teammates like he do?
It's sort of the same way. I mean, granted, he's borderline disrespectful. I mean, from what I didn't know it was that bad. Like, from watching this show now, I didn't know it was that bad. I mean, but it's borderline disrespectful. But I can guarantee you that none of them wanted him to score no buckets on him at practice. So I guarantee you he was hitting buckets or not making buckets because they was giving their 100 at practice.
Yeah.
So I think he might have pushed them because of his arrogantness and his shit talking smack, that it pushed them to be better at practice, which in turn made them better players, better athletes.
Yeah, I always looked at like Jonathan Gray, who played at Aledo, who rushed for 11,000 yards, over 200 touchdowns in high school, and he was the hardest working guy on the team. So I was like, if the hardest working guy on the team is going to sell out and work hard, nobody else has an excuse. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So if he's going to push himself that way, there's nobody else got any excuses on why they can and why they can. And if you can all raise your level to his level, you win 3 state championships just like they did. You know what I'm saying? And just like Jordan, man. Well, how'd you get to K-State? How did that come about? How you go from Virginia to Kansas State?
Oh, man, my story is crazy. So my senior year in high school, I was supposed to be All-American, supposed to be everything. The 5th game of the year, I break my leg. So I was out, obviously, the rest of the season. Now, after the season, I still got voted into it's called the Chesapeake Classic, Virginia versus Maryland All-Star game. Because even though I only played 5 games, I still broke 1,000 yards, and I still led the conference and things like that. So I still got voted into playing in this All-Star game. Now, keep in mind, I had a broken leg, cast on my leg, the whole line. And so I haven't played since that 5th game of the year, and they want me to play in this All-Star game. So I went there, and I really wasn't even going to play, but they still wanted me to come there because I was, one of the ones that's voted. So I got there, and someone was talking smack to me on the sideline, wishing that I was there. And the coach wanted me to play. He was like, "Yo, you can still play. The doctor said you're good and this and that." And I was just nervous. I was 165 pounds at 6 foot. I was just nervous. But a guy started talking smack to me in practice. And I was like, something? Laced him up, practiced all week and played in the game. And I happened to, make the all-star team. Make the most valuable player of the game, actually. Did well. I was excited. All these teams wanted to sign me. It wasn't Kansas State. It was Michigan State. It was Tennessee. It was a rack of Division I schools, but it wasn't Kansas State at all because they're so far away. But the problem is I never took my SAT at all. Didn't even go and attempt it. So therefore, you can't get Prop 48'd. Let's say if I took the test and would have failed it, a Division I school can Prop 48 me and still bring me on to the Division I school. But since I didn't even take it, that they were like, ain't nothing we can do for Division I. So Michigan State was still trying to pursue me. And basically they were like, listen, we want to send you to this junior college.
Mm-hmm.
And afterwards, you can come to us with a full scholarship if you want. And I was like, so do I have to sign a contract that, I'm coming to y'all after I graduate junior college and this and that? And they were like, no. They was like, if we want you to come with a full scholarship, then we'll offer you it then. So I took that as disrespect. I was like, because you could have locked me into a contract, at least a verbal contract, that I would come to you with a full scholarship, but you wasn't sure that I was going to pan out to be anything.
Yeah.
So, so I ended up going to a junior college in Kansas. And the problem with that is only 10 people only 10 out-of-state players make it in a junior college football team, or any sport, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
And there were already 10 that made it the year before. So I had to come in and beat someone out that already made it the year before to make the team. So I ended up playing there, doing my 2 years, graduating from there. It was Garden City Community College in Kansas. It's Garden City. Yeah, they were in the top 10 every year of all the junior colleges. And went there, had some great coaches. James Shebash, he actually played a year, I think, with the Atlanta Falcons. He was one of my coaches. I had Ganush, great coaches, man. I was blessed with a lot of coaches. There were a lot of great coaches. After those 2 years, Michigan State and Kansas State was two there that was bidding for me to come play with them. And this guy named Plexico Burris made me go to Kansas State. Because I was like, wait a minute, this guy's already big time for Michigan State. What's the point of me going there? I only got 2 more years, and we both same year, fighting for stats and things like that. Luckily for me, in Kansas State, the guy named Kevin Lockett, the legend of Kansas State history football, was graduating, and all the other receivers haven't actually got on the field as starters yet. So I was like, that's a better even playing field going into camp for me to go to Kansas State than Michigan State. So, did
you play against Mike Bishop when he was at Blinn?
No, we lost the game before to get to Mike. That game was against Coffeyville. If we'd have played Michael Bishop in the Junior College National Championship.
Oh, okay. So, did y'all go into K-State together?
Yep.
How was that?
We both went 2 years.
Instant connection?
No, it's instant hate.
Really?
That's one of my best friends of all time. But as a wide receiver, he's not the one you want to be he's not the quarterback that you want. And this is not a knock on his passing skills, because he was an amazing passer. He's everything, but he was so much of an athlete. The coach, Bill Snyder, had us running pass routes even though we knew for sure it was a quarterback draw. So Michael Bishop was like, yo, I'd rather be throwing the ball. I don't want to run the ball. I don't want to run for 1,000 yards. I'd rather be throwing the ball. But he was so much of an athlete. His first year, his junior year, his first year in Kansas State, he ran for 1,000 and threw for almost 2,000.
Yeah. And you think
so
back
at the beginning.
Oh, go ahead.
Well, I'm saying at the beginning of our relationship, me and Michael Bishop's, it wasn't a good one for me. But, I mean, he might have thought we was friends.
Give me the damn ball.
I mean, I knew it wasn't his fault. He was just doing what the coach says, and the coaches thought that that's the best way that they could win, was have him running the majority of the time. my junior year, and my first year, my junior year at Kansas State, I only ended up with 19 catches for the season.
Wow.
Yeah, and then my senior year, well, because of the Fiesta Bowl, when I broke all the records and things like that, I had 9 catches, 200 some yards in that game. I almost had half of my stats, in that one game. So after that, Coach Snyder opened up the passing game, and the next year I had 78 catches for the season for my senior year. So at first, awesome. Me and Bishop, I was like, man, you too good of a runner. Like, even though we winning, I want some passes,
But yeah. Snyder just got through seeing Tommy Frazier, 94, yeah. 95, you know what I'm saying? Seeing Nebraska run that thing, he looking at Bishop like, this is my Tommy Frazier. I want him to do what he did.
And he did, too. And he did it better than what he did, too. But, yeah.
Yeah. No, Mike Bishop, man, I seen him throw it 93 yards before. That's amazing. The Hail Mary from the own 20, starting at your own 20. Man. He throws the Hail Mary. You remember that play?
Yeah, yes. The man is amazing, man. I mean, I just seen him about 6 months ago. We went back to K-State for a little signing and things like that. Good guy, man. Unfortunately, he had a bad accident, messed his neck up, but he came through with it, and he had like a minor stroke. But he's bounced back, and he's back on the field coaching and all that. But this kid, and well, grown man now, but he was an unbelievable athlete. You could put him anywhere on the field, from linebacker because he was big enough, from safety to wide receiver, everything. You could have put him anywhere. He was that good of a person, good of a person and a player, actually.
I talked to him right after his stroke, man, and then I'm gonna have to get him on the show, man. I want to just catch up with him, see how he's doing, because he was there in Calgary with me too for a little bit, so we were able to be teammates. And he used to always invite me to Jamie's house. He was like, man, you got to come with me to Jamie's house, man. I said, man, I don't know if I can handle all that. You know what I'm saying? You see the way I'm running around Calgary. How am I going to handle being in L.A. at Fox House? Right. Come on now. We can't be out here doing all this.
It was good times, though.
Hey, do you remember the DBs you played against in the Fiesta Bowl?
No. I know one of them was they put Darius from Jackson Wire. He was a free safety in Jackson Wire for years, and he might even be in the Hall of Fame now. He played for a long time. Darius, I think that was his last name, Darius.
Darius? Oh, I don't know.
Darius. Yeah, I think he was. I'm sure he was a safety for Jacksonville for a whole lot of years. He was a safety for the Syracuse as well, but they ended up, because I was dogging the other guy because he was a little bit, too short for me. So they put him on me for the whole fourth quarter. So I keep telling people, hey, I scored on, he's a Hall of Famer in the league. Like, got a TD on him. But yeah.
Because y'all ran pretty much option offense, like one receiver sets, huh? And
yeah, for the most part.
And I went to college in a one receiver set. When I had 60-something catches, the next person to me had 19, right? Mm-hmm. So, and we only – like, we would go 3 receivers. We still use 2 running backs and me. Yep. I'm like, that's so disrespectful. Like, let's let 3 receivers out here and let us work.
Exactly.
Now, we don't want them to substitute. I'm like, these running backs can't run routes.
Right. Yeah,
we legitimately had 3 receivers that could do it. And that was the bad part. But, yeah, man,
So you understand my struggle a little bit.
Yeah. How'd you like that? Was it hard to fit in there, or what was the deal?
Well, see, this is the thing. It hurt me at the beginning because it didn't help my confidence at all. So, I tell people this jokingly, but I started studying hard because I was like, halfway through my first season with Kansas State, I was like, yeah, this doesn't look like I'm going anywhere with this. Like, I need to make sure I get this degree. Like, so I started studying extra hard. I'm like, this dude running for 100, 200 yards a game. Like, I was like, they're not passing it. So it hurt me even at practice. Even though I was doing good at practice, when the games came along, I wasn't really sure. Even though I was dominating at practice, I wasn't sure that I was good going against competition that I wasn't familiar with, even though we watched films and things like that. So I dropped a few passes early off in my Kansas State career because of second-guessing myself, and things like that. So it hurt me a lot by not getting a lot of opportunities to prove myself, you know. But that game, the bowl game at the end of that year at the Fiesta Bowl against Darnell McDonald and the Syracuse, it really gave me so much of a confidence booster because they loaded the line of scrimmage up with 9 players and they were shutting that run down. And I'm looking at Bill Snyder like, yo, it's time to throw the ball. Like, we're going to lose if we don't throw this ball. Like, you better throw me the ball, like, period. And he finally bowed down because Bishop wasn't running like he's been running all year because they loaded the line of scrimmage. And then I just went crazy. And that gave me so much of a confidence booster that it catapulted me to, you know, making it pro.
Yeah. It's always great when you run that option, man. We play Valdosta, so they sideline to sideline. I'm like, we not running today. Let me get this 180.
Right.
My best games came against the best teams because we couldn't run the ball. And I was always – because, you know, when you play against the option, you're going to see cover 3 so they can get an extra man in the box, or you're going to see man-to-man so they can get an extra man in the box.
Yep.
And there's nothing to it, right? So
I love to see it. You know, as a receiver –
hell yeah.
We love to see that man-to-man.
Especially with no help over the top. Getting drafted.
And, you know, me and you ain't never been no Blazers. So
no, never been Blazers.
Right.
Getting drafted. When you got drafted to Tampa Bay, did you think you were going to go in the 7th round, or you think you were going to go before that? What was your mindset going into the draft?
Man, that's another messed up part of my life right here. Everywhere, all the mock drafts, all the everything saying I was going to be late first, no later than late second. The earliest, late first, no later than late second. But fun fact, I don't even think you know this, but right when the season was over, I signed with an agent like everyone else does and things like that. And my agent – at this time I was the only football player that he had, and his biggest player was what is the center for San Antonio, the Admiral, what's his name?
David Robinson.
San Antonio Spurs. David Robinson, the Admiral. David Robinson was his biggest client. So hold on, get that from him. He's about to make noise. So anyway, so then he had a lot of tennis. Now it's my dog. He grabbed his toy. He's about to make a lot of noise. My English bulldog. But
keep that English bulldog.
So my agent had I always keep him. You already know that's my 3rd one right there. So but so he had a lot of tennis people and all this other stuff, and he actually got a call from Spike Lee. This is true facts. Right after my season, and right after I got an agent, Spike Lee called us and wanted me to do the Love and Basketball movie, the icon movie, the big time Love and Basketball movie. So at this point, I'm flying back and forth to New York, practicing lines with them and all this other stuff. So in the process of this, I'm not working out. I'm not doing anything. I'm eating craft food, you know, getting catered everything. Blah, blah, blah. I'm flying me and my mother up. We all working on lines because he wanted someone that wasn't an actor, but that was athletic enough that played basketball. You know, and I had offers with a couple D2 schools as well to play basketball as well coming out of high school. So long story short, I gained like 15 pounds, went to the combine, and my agent told me not to run the 40-yard dash. But you know how that is. I don't know if you've been to it or not, but they pressure you so hard to run this 40-yard dash. They pressure me and peer pressure me. Even my agent is literally on my cell phone. It's like, don't run. I ran anyway, and I ran a 4.59, and that dropped me from late first round to all the way late rounds. But I wouldn't change it for anything. I mean, I felt like if my skills was good enough, eventually I'll make that money back, you know. But I did commercials. I did some movies. I was on 24. I did a speaking role on 24. I did Runway for Sean John. Okay. I did all kinds of stuff right when I ended. I did Charmed, the TV show Charmed. I did Bernie Mac, Tracy Morgan show. I did all kinds of stuff. Unfortunately, when the movie was about to air, it would have been my first week in an NFL camp. and then he bailed out on me. He was like, "Nah, I can't. This football was your goal of life and this and that. I can't risk you not making it because you're flying back and forth trying to do this movie with me." So I had
That's
to
when
give
they
up
went and
that
got
role.
Omar Epps.
But right, and I could have been him right now. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't
You
have had to
a
take no
different
more hits
career.
if I would have did the movie.
Man,
You
you,
know what
could
I
have
mean?
been in The Best Man.
Right.
You could have been in all the Tyler Perry movies.
All them shows he done did. Exactly. I did get a commercial out of it though. I did have a K-Swiss commercial with my own little sneaks, K-Swiss.
I remember that. I remember the K-Swiss commercial.
Yeah.
Man, some people just get famous. But going to Tampa, you had Riedel Anthony and Jaquez Green there. How was that? Them Florida boys and, even Warwick Dunn. Like, how was that?
Warwick Dunn, surprisingly, no hate on no one. Surprisingly, I didn't think Warwick Dunn worked hard. I mean, he just was amazing, man. This kid was amazing. He ran hard and all that good stuff. I just didn't really see him like one of them diehard hard worker guys. The receivers, Bert Emanuel, Riedel Anthony, Jaquez Green. These dudes were great. They was great, the schools they came from and this and that. I just didn't see that work hard mentality because when I got there, they were already all making $1 million. The one that I latched onto was Carl the Truth Williams.
Yeah.
I mean, you probably don't even remember him because he played like 10 years with the Bucs but never started, and he did like kick return, punt return, and things like that. But this man, he worked so hard. It was ridiculous. Like, and he helped me because I got a little bit lackadaisical right before coming out of school. So he got me back on track of working hard and things like that. But the best worker I ever seen in my life is Warren Sapp. It's ridiculous. I would catch a deep pass for like 60-yard touchdown at practice.
Yeah.
By the time I turn around, Warren Sapp then already rushed the quarterback and then hustled all the way down to tap me on the shoulder in the end zone. And then sprint back to the huddle. And me personally, I'm like jogging just a little bit, like, because I just ran 80 yards, like, but he literally would rush the quarterback, turn around, sprint all the way to me, touch me, and then sprint all the way back to the huddle every time. That dude, I'm talking when it comes to lifting weights, all that. I mean, I know he has a bad rep for a lot of things he's done in his career and all this, but I can tell you on that field, he was the real deal.
Yeah. Some people, they have so much motivation to go back to, I don't want to go back to that life outside of this. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? That life is something that drives them. Like for me, my motivation was I wasn't going to go on haul hay no more. I wasn't going to work out in that sun and do all that work for $5-10 an hour. And It drives you. It's something that's great. Do you remember who led the team in catches that year?
With the Bucs?
Yeah.
I would guess the tight end probably, or Riedel Anthony.
No, Warwick Dunn.
Warwick Dunn did. Wow.
He had like 60,
I didn't think it was a receiver.
Or 69 catches.
Yeah. Those guys was not really big route runners. They was ones that would catch the ball and score, outrun someone. But they really wasn't big route runners and things like that. And our quarterbacks wasn't really
it was Sean King
that amazing either. Sean King, I think, was the best that we had there. Sean King, Eric Zaire, and Trent Dilfer.
Yeah. How'd you get along with Trent?
I think he probably was the best there. I love Trent. Me and him had some type of rapport. I don't know how we developed it, but this was when they were trying to get him out of there. And he used to call me Young Money. Why? I don't know. I don't know if he was trying to be the old cool white guy or whatever, but he called me Young Money. And every time we were in the huddle, he'd be like, "Yo, it's me against the world, me against the world, me against the world." He's like, "You remember that Tupac song?" I'm like, "Yeah, everybody knows that. Like, how do you know it?" But he knew that no one believed in him. Like, I don't know about how many people, but he knew that a lot of people didn't believe in him and this and that. So once he left and they got him up out of there, I was real happy to see him win a Super Bowl with Baltimore, even though he only threw like 10 passes the whole game. But I was very excited to see him win one because he knew a lot of people didn't have faith in him, and he went and did it. And there's some great quarterbacks like Dan Marino that don't even have a Super Bowl. So
yeah,
hats off to Dilford.
How was it playing for Tony Dungy?
He's just not my type of coach. And I'm not saying he's not a good coach, but I'm more of a Gruden coach type guy.
You want a harder guy?
No, not like at practice. Like Dungy would not even say anything to you unless you did something wrong. If I scored an 80-yard touchdown to win the game, Dungy's not going to be breaking his neck to give me a high five. You know what I'm saying?
It's almost like it's expected, right?
Right. But Gruden yell at you when you do something wrong and then damn near meet you in the end zone for a touchdown and giving you high five, giving you praise. You know, I was just the type of player that you got to give me both ways. You can't just be mean to me every single time I do something wrong or drop a pass, but then don't give no type of love when I do something right.
Yeah.
And that's just how Dungy was. And that's why I said me and him just didn't see eye to eye when it came to things like that. But he did have one rule that I respected and that I'm going to implement that. And I have implemented that with my son's football team that I coach. Dungy had a thing called no explanations, no excuses. And which that means is if you late for practice, you get fined. No matter what. You can get to a car accident. You're fine, no matter what. Your wife can be having a baby. You're fine, no matter what. You can have a heart attack. You're fine, no matter what. So it alleviates the big time players like Sapp and all these, Mike Allstott and all them from getting any type of favoritism.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Now I know it's a little extreme. If you have a heart attack, you're still getting fined. You know what I'm saying? I know that's the extreme, but I actually like when the way Dungy implemented that. And I will implement it in every little team I coach or whatever as well. Like, I don't care if moms couldn't make it. Your mom knew we had practice last week. So you're going to be running these laps.
Yeah.
Right. You're going to be running these laps. You're going to be, even if it was mom's fault, oh, well, you're going to be running these laps.
I try to talk to our kids about the same thing, accountability, man. Just being accountable, knowing what you got to do. Like, being great at something is being consistent. And you can't be consistent only at sports and nothing else in your life is consistent. Exactly. You know what I'm saying? If you are, then that's crazy. But, it's that's, like thinking about Tony Dungy for me and reading the book that he has and everything else, it's kind of crazy, right? To hear that he didn't really say much to congratulate you. Like last year when I was coaching, I would go here being angry, but I'm going here being happy, right? Exactly. I was always far happier. And I don't know what it was, but when I would see my guys do something, big run, big block, I got more pumped up than they did. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Rutt ran back a 98-yard, 108-yard kickoff return, and I'm running down the field with him. I'm high-stepping. I'm yelling. Right. I'm sitting there. I'm jumping up on the field. And, it's just one of those things to where I was always like, let's raise this level. If we can make people reach ours.
Exactly. And that helps motivate people to want to do better. You know what I'm saying? And like, if you're just one of those coaches that is like a monotone personality, oh, you did this wrong, you did this wrong, you did something good, all right, yeah, good job. Like, that I just feel like as coaches and as parents, we have to find ways to motivate the kids. Mm-hmm. And for us acting like a kid, running down with them, that motivates them because somebody else gonna want to run that touchdown and watch Nick run down the sideline on the video the next day, like, oh, look at the coach, he still got it. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, definitely, I think that's a good thing that the way you raise your level even more when kids do good.
Yeah. Speaking of coaches, man, Jim Barker, you went to the XFL, the original XFL. Jim Barker was your head coach. I know you're one of Barker boys, one of the guys that are in that Barker boys group. I can't wait to talk to Barker about that group and see if I'm in it now. But how was that? What was the mindset like from going from the NFL to the XFL, and how was Barker as the head coach?
Now, Barker, man, that man's like a father to me. Like, and he took all his people. Well, not all of them. The ones that he felt that was going all in for him, that was going to work hard, and leave everything, all the outside stuff off the field. Once you get to work, is work. He really didn't care as long as you're not getting in trouble outside of the football field, he really didn't care what you was doing as long as you wasn't getting in trouble. But once you came to work, if you worked and he's seen that you worked hard for him and you wanted this, and you're not there just for a paycheck and things like that, that he looked out for you. Like, he looked out for me damn near my whole career after we met in the XFL. It was like he was my agent. Yeah. Every place that I went in the CFL, he got me there. He sent me there. Obviously, the team had to, have some type of faith that I can perform, at the level that they need. But it was always Barker putting the word in for me, calling things like that. Because I didn't have an agent after I came to the CFL. Yeah. But the guy, man, I can't speak nothing but good things about Coach Barker. Man, he's just an amazing individual, great coach, a great person. And my hat's off to him because I owe him, the career that I had, I owe him.
Yeah. How was it playing the XFL, the original one, man? Just, setting the stage and just being so different.
I just don't understand with the XFL. They just got bad luck, man. I'm telling you, because it was – I literally was like, yo, I would play in the XFL forever. During that year and after that year, I was like, I love this. The competition was amazing. You got to think, I had Tommy Maddox as our quarterback. He went on and had a great year in the NFL. I mean, a great career in the NFL.
Yeah.
We had one of your buddies, Jermaine Copeland was on my team.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Reggie Durden. Saladin McCullough, Reggie Durden. He was a
Bobby Singh.
A quarterback. Yeah, Bobby Singh, man. We had so many great athletes and great players and good people, that I just think XFL has a bad luck, especially this year. It looked great. It looked great to me. It looked like it was good football. It looked like it was going to take off, and then the COVID-19 hit, and now it had to file for bankruptcy again. So I don't know, but I had a great time. No, and then it was like no player made more money than the other except the quarterbacks.
Yeah.
So the rest of the team all made the same exact amount of money.
And you got a win bonus.
It wasn't like people thinking they better than everyone else. Right, exactly. Yep. So I loved it. Absolutely loved it. I wish it didn't fold back then either.
How was it playing in LA? And did you get a lot of hype off of the field? Like, how the NFL kind of gets hype and everything, but being in LA, being a part of that team, did you get really hype off the field? Like, we all getting in bars and everything, clubs, and people treating you like celebrities or –
That's funny because you know me. So the hype that we got was the hype that I shouldn't have got, that I didn't want. So, I mean, like, there wasn't things that happened, like, in the city-wise type things. But we had our little football card, and once we walked into any bar or any club in L.A. or anywhere, it was like we was NFL stars. So they gave us too much love. I should have been sitting at home some of those days, but they gave us too much love. But, yeah, it was big time. It was big time. Like, I don't know about any other cities. Like, I wouldn't have wanted to play in Memphis and all these other places that they were playing. But, they gave us love, especially in the night scene.
Any stories you want to tell us?
Nope. Oh, shoot.
The most. Was there a teammate that you really just hung out with?
Me and Cope.
You and Cope hung out.
Me and Cope, Reggie Durden. Yeah. Yep. That's who I hung out with mostly in LA when we played for the LA Extreme.
You ever hung out with Bobby Singh?
Bobby Singh's a little too wild for me. He's a little too wild for me. I mean, I ain't got nothing to say negative about the man, but I hang out and have some good times. I'm all about memories and some good times. But
I've never heard you say somebody was too wild for you.
Man, he is the one. That man goes hard.
When he first got to Calgary, he comes in because we used to drink after every second, after 2 days, right, in the weight room or wherever, all the vets. And in 2007, he came in there. He goes, "Man, I heard you like Crown." He goes, "We're gonna be great friends." I was like, "Yes, sir."
Yeah, that's one dude I couldn't hang with. I made sure I stayed away from him. Like, we would go out, all the guys, or be at a bar or something like that. But after a while, I had to try to slide somewhere else because he just had fun. But he just went too far sometimes. Like, that's all I can say is he went too far sometimes where I couldn't be around him. He had me nervous.
You know, we speak about a lot of these guys like Bobby Singh came to the CFL after that, Cope and Durden and yourself, Prefontaine, Scott Milanovic. There was a lot of guys on that team that came to the CFL after that stint, man. Was it good seeing those guys get into the CFL? And what was your transition like to, you know, NFL, XFL, now to the CFL?
Well, I love the CFL. And it was good to see familiar people. So it kind of made me feel like I belonged. You know what I mean? I had a great year in the CFL and everything else, but to see all the players that are at least on the same team as me, you know, go from the CFL, go from the XFL to the CFL, to most of them to the same team as me as well, that, you know, it just made me feel a little bit more comfortable. And then we had the same coach, you know, so for me, it was a very, very easy transition. I didn't like the motion, the running motion for the CFL, and I didn't like it because I was just hating on the other players, because I pride myself my whole career of getting off the line of scrimmage on bump coverage, and now, in my opinion, some people might say there's a little hate, but it turns an average receiver that can't get off the line of scrimmage by standing still, it turns him into a great receiver if he has speed. Yeah, you know what I mean, in the CFL. So at first I was like, I guess it was hating or whatever. I just didn't like it. I was like, I don't need it. I don't need it. So I was happy when they put me on all the way on the end where, you know, I was one of the guys that didn't move anyway. So yeah, but it made an average receiver turn great. The ones that couldn't get off the line of scrimmage.
Definitely could, right? When you can't get off the line, and there's a lot of guys that can't get off the line. You know,
see, with you got size. You always had size as well. You had strength, you had size, so you didn't actually need it. You know what I'm saying? It might have helped you a little bit because you were like me. You wasn't Blazers.
Yeah, it'll definitely help that.
Right,
but skip step.
Yeah, right, exactly. But you can still line up though, and with your size and your strength, you can still get off the line of scrimmage, no problem. But it just made me like, I'm like, man, if you put him on this line of scrimmage, that little receiver ain't getting off this line. You got a big DB out there, you know. But that's the only thing that I would say that I didn't like about coming to the CFL.
And
but
then
other than that,
going back to college, man, you know, you're gonna get press man, especially playing those teams, because that's an extra defender in the box if they run it. Yep. Right. So I always knew if I had anything over, 10 yards in college and I got press man, like Shaq say, it's barbecue chicken.
Yes, that's
touchdown. Oh. Right now, I don't care where we at on the field. Yep. Strike up the band.
Strike it up. Strike it up.
So you have to work on your craft, and I see a lot of different receiver coaches teaching a lot of different techniques, and hopefully it works out for them. But it definitely, you should see it now with the new rules they put in 2014, where you can't even make contact to a receiver after 5 yards. Right?
Oh wow!
So now a lot of guys are getting off that. There's guys that started getting off that didn't get off 5 years before that. Right? They've been in the CFL for over 5 years, having very average years, and then this comes in, and then it's like, you get 1,000, you get 1,000, you get 1,000. I'm like, man,
I mean, they got to be doing that just so more points get scored, because for one, it's all passing league. Well, not all passing, but it's more passing than most of the NFL teams, because you only got 3 downs.
Yeah,
so that's another thing I loved about it.
In 2013, there's 27 quarterbacks that played, and there was only two or 3,000 yard receivers. That's the year I broke my leg. I was on pace for 1,200 for the 4th straight year, but they only had like 2,000 or 3,000 yard receivers. So they were like, well, we got to get receiving up. So then they changed the rule. But I'm like, the receiving was down because there's 27 quarterbacks to play. Right. That means everybody's on their 3rd string quarterback at some point.
Right.
Of course you're not going to just go out there and put up big numbers with, some of these quarterbacks that coming in, and, you play with a couple that he going in the game, you take your gloves off.
Hey, oh my God, I can't remember his name. I can't hate on him, because whenever he came in, he was throwing me the ball no matter what. He don't care who was covering me, double coverage, triple coverage, but it was the coach's son.
Oh, Federer.
Federer. Hey, I can't hate on him because he gave me love. I had like 240 some yards or something like that on the Alouettes on their stadium. He came in the game and he threw me the ball every single day, every single play. He threw me the ball. I had like 13, 14 catches, something like that. But yeah, he was one of those ones you might want to take them gloves off at one point.
Man, in 2003, you had 67 catches, 1,002 yards, and 4 touchdowns.
Mm-hmm.
And then coming back in 2004, that's when we became teammates.
Right.
Talk to me about training camp that year.
Now, was that the year that I got hurt?
Yeah, Dunnigan was there.
Oh, yeah. I don't know. I just think he didn't like me from the beginning, because I felt like my training camp was great. Me and Cope, we trained together. We ran the hills and stuff like that. We did everything. I came in slim, a lot lighter than I was. I was coming in faster, catching balls the whole nine. And I remember we were playing BC in BC, and it was like the last couple seconds or couple minutes of the game or last minute of the game, and I was running the slot. Came down, hiked the ball, post corner, and I'm looking up for the ball, and I think it was Burris threw it. I guess he got pressure, and I guess I looked late or whatever, and the ball landed like 3-4 yards away from me, and we ended up losing the preseason game. And when that happened, when I came to the sideline and the coach looked at me and he said something to me, I really couldn't hear, and I was like, yeah, that's it. I'm done. And then I got hurt in practice. So I just think he just didn't like me. I mean, he just felt like he wanted to go in a different direction or whatever. But just, I mean, you never know. You know what I mean? Sometimes you got coaches that like you. Sometimes, you got some that don't.
Yeah, there was but there's a lot of guys. Alondra Johnson was released that year. Fred Perry was released that year. Yourself. I thought a lot of guys got released that could help us, but had some personalities.
Right.
And I think
that bothered me too, because everyone knows that I hung out, I have a good time. I partied, all that kind of just like, and then it wasn't like I was out there by myself. Like, wasn't out there by myself. But then I never been in trouble. I never did anything wrong. Never been in trouble with law. Never did anything. And then I was hearing rumors that he's having issues because I was out eating wings on whatever days with other players. But I heard he had issues with me doing that. I never did any drugs. I never did anything that. And there was a whole bunch of people on the team that did drugs and weed and all kinds of drugs. And I never did a drug, in my life. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, I was confused about that, like that he didn't like certain personalities. Okay, you like the ones that's doing drugs or what? But, I just chalked it up, because I hurt my, I want to say my patellar tendon and then right when I left there, I went to Montreal and had surgery on it.
Yeah.
And they did me wrong with that too. But that's a whole nother.
Because you were a vet and you got released while you were injured, right?
Exactly. The release while I was injured with no money, and they didn't pay me any of the money until after I filed a grievance and things like that. And I got my money like a year later. But yeah, it was bad. He didn't even give me an opportunity to get healthy, or I think he seen what happened after I did the x-rays and things like that. And I guess the doctors told him this and that. So he was like trying to get rid of me before, or whatever. Like I wasn't going to get a second opinion or a third opinion. Like that makes no sense. We're athletes. So after I got the other opinions, and then obviously they had to pay me for that season.
Yeah.
But it took me a while. It took me a year to get that money though.
I remember your knee being hurt, that first training camp. And I still remember there was one play, it was one-on-one on the left side.
Yep.
You got a good release. You go up, you moss a DB. I don't remember the DB. You mossed him. You turn around, you spike the ball, and you were like, and I'm not even supposed to be out here because my knee hurt. Or you know what I'm saying?
The day they got me on film doing that, that's the day they released me.
Really? That was the same day?
Yep. Well, I didn't. The next practice, I didn't practice.
Yeah.
Right. So they did that on purpose to get me on the field, so they can have me on video And then they cut me because obviously you're on video. That means you can practice. That means you're good.
Yeah.
But obviously that didn't work out for him in the long run. So after a year, I got my money for that whole season. But
then you went to Montreal, and you sit out that whole year in Montreal after that knee injury, huh?
yeah, because I had to rehab. Yeah, I had to rehab that whole year for the knee injury. And then the next year, they didn't even give me really a chance in camp. They just sent me to Winnipeg.
How was Winnipeg?
Winnipeg is interesting. It's a very, 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 very small town, small city. But they love their football. That's one thing that I really love Winnipeg for. The whole city was football. Like it literally is like a ghost town because everyone's at the football game, the whole city. So yeah, I had a real good time there.
Then you came back to Calgary in 2007. Like Barker was back. Barker really wanted you in Calgary, but you could tell Higgins didn't want you at all.
Right.
How was that just being in that situation when you know the head coach does not want you? He don't want you around. But the GM is like, this is my dude.
Right. And I think that's the only time I think where Barker hurt me because I was one of the Barker boys.
Yeah.
So and I felt like that the head coach didn't want Barker boys, he wanted his boys.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Because if he would have kept all the Barker boys and then we won a Grey Cup, everyone's going to probably give praise to Barker because we're all Barker boys. So I just think that he just didn't want too many Barker boys on the team. So they just like, hey, we're just going to go a different direction. And that's when I got released from there. So
who's your favorite teammate over your whole career?
My favorite teammate?
Yeah.
I would say Warren Sapp.
Warren Sapp, favorite teammate?
Yes, only because he's very entertaining and he tells the truth no matter what.
Who's favorite quarterback?
No matter what the consequences. Michael Bishop.
Michael Bishop by far. Even though we didn't start off well, but he's probably the best quarterback that I ever played with. Yeah, he's super talented.
Yeah.
You know, he's one of those guys that really talented that you know what you're going to get every time he steps on the field. But he going to fire that pigskin.
That's the only problem I have with him is it could be a 2-yard crossing route or a bomb. He throwing it 100 miles an hour. That's the only thing that I didn't like about Michael Bishop. He throw them Jones hard.
Funny story, Joffrey. So we sitting in it's pregame warm up. You know how you have routes on the air, and Joffrey ran a little flare route, and Bishop just. Joffrey said, "What's wrong with you?"
Oh, I had a few of those moments.
You know how Joffrey was. Yeah. Joffrey was like, "Man, don't ever throw me the ball again, baby. You gonna throw the ball like that?" Trying to break my fingers. Y'all here trying to break my fingers.
Hey, I had that argument or conversation with Michael Bishop a whole bunch of times in my career, especially in college. Like, man, he's I don't know what he just felt like he had to throw hard every time, show his muscles. I guess I'm like, man, and some of those, and you can attest to this. Some of those passes is hard to catch because you think that they're going to come soft. You think it'll come with a lot less speed than so it surprises you. So a lot of those catches is hard. It's hard to catch because you're not ready for them. Yeah,
dealing with him and Hank, man, I'll tell you what. And then you get guys like Kevin Glenn and you see Ricky Ray and Dave, people just catching them one-handed passes, making everything look good. You like, man, that's easy work. When I got Kevin, I was like, that's my guy. Right? My favorite quarterback to play with was always Kevin.
Yeah.
You know, but I always thought Hank was the best quarterback I ever, suited up with because his skill set, where like him and Mike Bishop have the similar skill set.
Mm-hmm.
I think Hank's just a little bit better, a better passer, but I think Mike's a better pure runner than Hank was. So, dude, both of them dudes are super athletic, man. Well, that's awesome, man. I appreciate you for stopping by.
Hey, anytime.
The LewLewLounge.
It's good seeing you, man. Good chatting up. Yeah.
Man, anything been going on, man? You just want to say anything positive? Anything? How can people get a hold of you, reach you on social media, check out your funny videos?
Man, oh well. I just want to say, I'm football. If anybody's debating, because I had this debate myself with my son about playing football because of all the concussions and things like that. Yes, and if someone ever gets one of those concussions or something bad that happens to them because of sports, it's a bad and terrible thing. But I would never ever prevent my son from playing any sport that has to do with team and any type of structure and any type of things like that. So if anybody's on the fence, take it from me, Darnell McDonald, let them play, man, because I have so much memories. I got my boy Nick Lewis right here, big time Hall of Famer, you know what I mean? And I came across some great people in my time and things like that. So I would never, I'm walking around, I got bad knees now, my shoulders messed up, my hands messed up, you know what I'm saying? But I wouldn't change it for the world, man. So if anybody's on the fence, some of you parents out there, mothers, fathers, let them play. Organized sports is amazing, and just to sit back and reminisce right now, you got me grinning ear to ear, just reminiscing about things in the past that I've done and what you've done and stuff like that. So
yeah,
let them play, let them kids play, let them and just hope for the best.
That's it. Education. I always say, educate yourself because you can heal the brain now. You can grow the brain with technology, and I've been a part of it, man. So just get educated on it, right? Be proactive and not reactive.
Exactly.
The only thing that Darnell needs to change is that damn hat.
Hey, Philly, baby, Philly. I'm from Jersey, baby, Philly all day. Hey, we got this. We got a Super Bowl. So
can we make a trading places $1 bet on the Cowboys and Philly this year? We'll go head up. Remember Trading Places with Eddie Murphy where they made the $1 bet? Randolph and Mortimer.
Oh yeah.
So we'll make $1 bet. We'll go head up. If one gets swept, it's $2.
Correct.
And if they tie, it's whoever's got the best record.
Done. But I need mine in all nickels, though. Cool. I need you to mail mine in nickels. Mail. Canada
got rid of pennies, so I mean.
Oh, did they?
Yeah.
So they got the loonies and toonies.
Loonies, toonies, nickels and dimes. They don't have pennies no more. It's round up, round down now.
Oh,
so
okay.
if it's like 6 or 7, it rounds down. If it's 8 or 9, it round up.
Oh, all right. Hey, let me tell you one little funny story, football story about my son. Well, it's basically my worst dad moment in the history of life, okay? So, coach's team, his first year of tackle football, and my son's playing basically all the positions on defense, right? And I haven't really trained him yet because I wanted him to try to learn to develop the love for the game first.
Yeah.
So I haven't really had him out there running, routes and, all this other stuff. I want him to learn the game first and love the game before I, send him into the NFL combine practice every day at 8 years old. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, one of the games where it's a close game, the other team is down to the 3-yard line. They got 2 more plays to score. And basically the refs was like, hey, we're going to give them these last 2 plays. If they score, they win. If they don't, your team win. I'm like, yes, sir. So now my son, I'm telling the defense coordinator to blitz my son, blitz him. Now keep him around. This is his first year playing. So I'm like, blitz my son right now because if you don't blitz him, he's going to stand around and get blocked. So anyway, the first play, the third down, they hand it off to the running back. My son blitzes through there. He hits the big, in Little Leagues, the biggest guy is a running back. So he hits the big guy, and he slowed him down, and then the rest of the team made the tackle, right? So it was at the 5-yard line. I'm like, yeah. So he looked at me dang, I missed the tackle. But I'm like, yo, you slowed him down. You know what I'm saying? I'm hyped. I'm hyped I'm playing,
Yeah.
So now the last play of the game, I'm telling the defense coordinator, blitz him again. So he blitzes him in there, and the big guy gets the ball. He just stiffs arm my son so bad to the ground, boom, and then now he's running, and there's only one kid left, the smallest kid on our team, in front of this big dude to stop him at the 2-yard line to make this tackle so we can win, right? This little kid, I love him to death. This little kid named Andre, he was never scared, and he went head up with this big guy, and the big guy hit him, and I was just there's no way he's gonna stop him. We're gonna lose this game. Long story short, the kid ends up falling 1 yard short and we win the game. I run over there and grab that little boy, and I'm running down the whole field with him on my shoulders, like, yeah, we won. Yeah. I turn around, my son is crying because I'm carrying another man's son down the field after he just got stiff-armed. The worst dad moment in the history of life, man. The worst
it's
dad
gonna
moment
always
in
be
the
in the
history
back of his mind. It's gonna always be in the back
I know
of his
everyone
mind.
says that. Everyone says that. And I put the kid down so fast, like, oh, shoot.
Hey, you slowed him down again, son.
The worst dad moment. I go over to my son, he crying. Oh, you don't love me because I didn't make the tackle. I'm like, half of me want to be like, suck that shit up. Like, come on, suck it up, man. What's the problem? Like, you can. But then I just started, like, I damn near started crying too and hugging my son, like, we won. And then it keeps going in my mind, I'm like, damn, he seen me run the whole 100 yards with somebody else's son on my shoulders.
You're replaceable.
Right.
You better make the play, man.
So that's my first bad sports bad moment.
Everybody needs the motivation, man. That's awesome.
Right.
That's awesome, man. Keep doing the good work, brother. Keep doing that. And let's stay in touch, man. We're gonna definitely do some things, and that's awesome. I appreciate you for taking the time to come on here and share your story. And one of the things I've learned through this, man, is that all of us have stories, and see how similar as ours are with the option offense in college and different things that led us down our path. And it's very enlightening for people to listen to this, to be able to say, it's not easy, right? It's not just, oh, he had the perfect path. Like, there was multiple things that stood in your way, and, you know, some of the mistakes you made, and you feel like now there's another kid in your position that's going to be able to take advantage of that to better their life and better their opportunity. So I appreciate you for sharing your story, man, sharing your laughs and everything. It's always a fun time. And yeah, man, it was great. I appreciate you.
Yeah. And we need to figure it out. Where next time you go on a vacation, we take the whole family, we all go on a vacation.
Oh, we boomeranging.
There it is.
Oh. Well, hey, I appreciate y'all for joining the LewLewLounge, and we out.